to Beyond the Pages. My name is Mike Maletich. I'm the publisher of Pittsburgh Real Producer Magazine. Today I'm joined with Georgie Smigel and Matt Ohlsson of the Georgie Smigel Group. Thanks guys for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, great. So Georgie, you've been a perennial champion in the Pittsburgh real estate community for years. In fact, 2017 you're going to finish up the #1 agent in the Pittsburgh market. So kudos to you guys on that.
Thank you.
But how did you get started in real estate? Kind of where did this journey begin? Tell us a little bit of the backstory.
Well, I was a competitive skater and then a skating coach. We traveled overseas and were living overseas. Believe it or not, being a skating coach has more difficult hours than a realtor and a lot of travel. We decided we wanted to move back to the U.S. as our boys we wanted them to be American. So we both thought about new careers. And I had always admired my aunt, who owned a small real estate company in Du Bois, Pennsylvania. And so I decided I wanted to be a realtor. Mm-hmm. My sister-in-law at the time was vice president of Savings and Loan, and told us, because we didn't know where we wanted to move back to, neither of us are from here, and my sister-in-law said, move to Cranberry, it's a growing area. So that's what we did, and being in a competitive business all my life in skating, I became very competitive as a realtor.
So Georgie and Matt, a few years ago, you guys decided to partner up. Georgie, why did you decide to partner up with Matt? Like, what was it that you saw in him, and why did you choose Matt Ohlsson to be a part of the group?
Well, for a lot of people don't realize, Matt went to Clarion and received a degree in real estate and finance. So he started in real estate at a very young age. Actually, Matt's the same age as my son. And I was kind of his real estate mom. And I was so impressed with Matt. At such an early age, I saw very similar traits in his personality. He has a strong work ethic. He has the desire to grow. He's brave enough to implement new systems so that he can provide his clients with quality service. And he was the #2 agent in the office when we decided to partner up.
Georgie approaches you about partnering up with the group. What kind of went through your mind, and what essentially kind of made you decide to make the move?
Well, it's something that we had talked about for years. Georgie was kind of like my real estate mom. I'd been working side by side with her for years, and we just, having the real similar personalities, it just made sense.
So Matt, a couple years ago when this whole group formed, you went from being the #2 agent in the office to essentially being invisible. I'm assuming that was challenging. #1, was it challenging? But #2, then how did you deal with that emotional challenge?
It was absolutely challenging. How did I deal with it? Extremely poorly, but I'm working on it every day. You know, realistically, in real estate, we all know we all have big egos. Georgie and I kind of figured out when we joined up that if we put our egos aside for just a minute, we can actually service our clients a lot better. Partnering up, we were able to combine our resources, combine our staff, and just give the client a much better real estate experience.
So Matt and Georgie, the hot topic or word today is culture in a lot of real estate circles. So when somebody works with the Smigel Group, what are some of the things culture-wise they get? Like, what kind of separates the group and kind of sets you apart?
Well, what the Smigel Group offers is a specialist in every avenue of the real estate transaction for buyers or sellers. And we back that up with a service guarantee. We have someone in our group who specializes in every aspect. For example, a graphic designer, a photographer, a closing transaction manager, a listing transaction manager. So this allows Matt and I to spend all of our time just working with buyers and sellers, helping them get their property sold or purchased.
The specialist thing really, to add to that, really gives us so much more time to actually service our clients. We're not running around grabbing photos. We're there answering their questions. We're not worried about the closing. We're worried about the closing, but we're not thinking about it as much as your average agent because we've got somebody else to handle that for us. We're in front of the clients more often than the average agent.
So Matt, you actually were the buyer's agent for my next door neighbor who's a veteran, and you have a great relationship with both USAA and Navy Federal. Tell me a little bit about how that relationship started and kind of where it's moved to now.
Yeah, actually, I loved working with your neighbors. I just saw them last week. They're fantastic people. USAA Navy Federal has been one of the highlights of my career. I was able to become affiliated with them about 10 years ago. There was an agent in our office that was transitioning out of the business, and in order to back her up, I became certified with both of those companies. It's been absolutely wonderful. They're some of the best clients that I've got. Nothing better for me than to be able to give back a little bit to those that have given so much to our country.
So Matt, thinking back kind of a few years, what advice would you give to somebody just kind of starting in real estate? In essence, what would you tell the 23-year-old version of yourself?
So if I was just starting out right now, I would do something kind of similar to what I did, which was shadow Georgie. So find the top agent that you have access to. Look in Real Producers Magazine. Look at the top 25 agents that are in there. Find the one that you have the most access to. Get to know them, shadow them, do a couple open houses for them. If you can partner with them, team up with them, absolutely. If you have the opportunity to do that, absolutely do it.
So Georgie, a lot of times we have the opportunity maybe to look back on life and see one or two quote-unquote career-defining moments, and a lot of times those frame themselves in as challenges, and they either push us towards success or they pull us towards success. As you kind of look over the landscape, what are some of the things that you kind of point to that has kind of defined who you are and what you become in the real estate and real estate community?
Well, first of all, my family. It's not easy to be a spouse of a realtor who never knows what time they may or may not get home. My husband is extremely supportive, and my children were too. So, it's a business where you have to have a supportive spouse. I have about 4 really influential people that really made me change. Both of the brokers I've had in my career, Scott Rogers and George Hackett. And then I have about 3 speakers. Number 1, Danielle Kennedy. And Danielle Kennedy taught me about farming. And this year, Matt and I am so proud to say, almost 5,000 poinsettias to neighborhoods farming. Also, Floyd Wickman, the Sweat Hog program. I took that class 3 times. Once right after my mom passed away because I was just not able to go back to work. She passed away when I was 33 years old, so it was really difficult. So I took the class again just to motivate me and get me back into the office. And then finally, I now have professional coaching, which is teaching me about a succession plan. Thus the reason why we have the group, because I don't want 28 years of my hopefully very satisfied customers and really strong customer relationships to go down the tubes when I'm too old to do this anymore. So we have this wonderful agent, Matthew, to take over from me.
Georgie and Matt, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your story with us. It was wonderful to once again reconnect with you and kind of learn a little bit more about the group and the business. That's awesome stuff. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for checking us out for another Beyond the Pages. If you are not getting the Pittsburgh Real Producer Magazine, and you're a real estate agent or you're a vendor and you want to know a little bit more about us and how to get connected, reach out to me on Facebook. Pittsburgh Real Producers on Facebook is all you need to do. Private message me and we'll reach right back out. Wanted to say a special thanks to Chris Klein from Rapid Pulse Marketing. Chris is the official video partner of Pittsburgh Real Producer Magazine, and he's one of the best. If you are a real estate agent or you're a business and you really like telling your story through video, I highly recommend Chris Klein and Rapid Pulse. They're great at what they do. Thanks everybody, I appreciate the time, and we'll see you next time.